the 57th lap.
Here are 4 of the scariest racing accidents in history, from which many lessons were learned and which have become reasons for making racing safer. Roger Williamson was a 25-year-old British racing driver and 2-time British Formula 3 champion. He had debuted in Formula 1 just weeks earlier at Silverstone, or the British GP, and had managed 2 race starts in F1. The 1973 Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort was only Williamson's second World Championship race. Zandvoort is a fast seaside circuit in the dunes of the Netherlands, where safety facilities in the early 1970s were rudimentary. On lap 8 of the race, Williamson's March 731 was at high-speed Schijfvlak when his left front tire exploded. The car snapped hard and hit the inside Armco barrier at near full speed. Crucially, that section of barrier had been erected improperly. Its end created a ramp that flipped Williamson's car into the air. The March car tumbled upside down and burst into flames. The fuel tank exploded, and the car was soon engulfed in a massive fireball. Remarkably, Williamson suffered no fatal impact injuries. He was alive and conscious, but trapped under the overturned burning cockpit. In 1973, there were no fire suppression systems on board the car. Cars of that era had no automatic extinguishers, and the open roll hoops and fuel tank layout offered little protection in a fire. Fellow driver and Williamson's friend, David Purley, who witnessed the crash, abandoned his own race and ran across the active track to help. With flames surrounding Williamson, Purley first attempted to right the car by hand. When alone, he could not. He seized a handheld extinguisher and returned to spray the blaze. The fire marshal was slow to react, and local marshals wearing ordinary clothes with no protective gear stood aside. Purley shouted and gestured angrily at approaching drivers, trying to wave them down for help, but none stopped. Drivers assumed the burnt-out car on track was Purley's, thinking he'd bailed out, and so continued racing. As minutes passed with no help, Purley's frantic efforts failed, and a fire truck finally arrived 8 minutes after the crash. By then, the flames were extinguished, but Williamson had succumbed to asphyxiation, inhaling hot, toxic gases while trapped beneath his car. David Savage, or Swede Savage, was a 26-year-old American IndyCar driver and student of racing legend Dan Gurney. He began soapbox derby racing at the age of 5, moved up to racing quarter midget cars, and then at age 12 to go-kart racing. By his mid-teens, he was racing motorcycles competitively. He won the 1970 USAC Phoenix 200 and drove for Pat Patrick's STP-backed team in 1973. The 1973 Indianapolis 500 was scheduled to begin on Monday, May 28th, but the race start was preceded by a 4-hour rain delay. On that day, a near-fatal start line accident involving Salt Walther's car sprayed burning methanol into the stands, injuring spectators and breaking the catch fence. Shortly after the crash, heavy rain returned, preventing any resumption that day and leading to a postponement to Wednesday, May 30th. Savage qualified 4th on the grid and had led laps 43 to 54 in his number 40 Patrick Racing Eagle Offenhauser car. On lap 58 or 59, Savage exited turn 4 of the 2.5-mile oval after a pit stop. His car still carried about 75 gallons of methanol fuel, roughly 500 pounds, and a newly changed right rear tire. The exact cause of Savage's spin remains disputed, but most witnesses report that the heavily fueled rear end of the car twitched on exit due to a new cold tire, causing Savage to lose control, and slammed head-on into the inner retaining wall at nearly full racing speed.
Make a pit stop. That could give Savage the lead again. Yes, he is. Oh my God, it's Savage! Right. The worst thing I've ever seen. That is the worst thing.
The race is stopped.
The impact shattered the chassis. Wheels, engine, and body panels were torn off and scattered, and the methanol fuel instantly ignited in a massive fireball. Burning fuel sprayed across the track. Safety crews immediately waved a red flag. Savage's cockpit was shattered. He slid out across the track and came to rest at the outside wall of the track, trapped in flaming methanol. Remarkably, he remained conscious and moved in the wreckage, even attempting to escape the flames. In the middle of the chaos, 23-year-old Armando Terran, working in the pits for Savage's teammate, was struck from behind by a fire truck reversing toward the crash site and succumbed in hospital. Savage stayed conscious as rescuers extricated him and transported him to Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis. He had suffered third-degree burns over approximately 60% of his body. His face, arms, hands, and lungs were damaged by methanol flames and extreme heat, and both legs were fractured. Savage survived for 33 days before succumbing to complications from his injuries. Gary Batson was a 40-year-old amateur racer from Travelers Rest, South Carolina, known locally as a restaurateur and barbecue enthusiast, as well as a short-track driver. A former high school and college footballer, he owned the Gary Batson Feed Store restaurant and raced weekly for years at the Greenville-Pickens Speedway near his hometown. By 1992, Batson had begun moving up from local short-track racing into NASCAR's developing sportsman division, an exhibition series at Charlotte Motor Speedway using older Winston Cup cars. He had no record of starts in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series itself, but competed in the Charlotte Sportsman races. Batson's car was a prior Philip Ross wreck, repaired by Lawrence Ledford's team. The fatal accident occurred on May 15, 1992, at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. It happened during a last-chance qualifying heat around lap 4, exiting turn 4 for a support race called the Winston Sportsman 100. As Batson and Neil Connell exited one of the high-speed turns, their cars made contact with each other. Connell's number 88 Chevrolet and Batson's number 96 Chevrolet Monte Carlo made contact, shoving Batson's car onto its side and into the outside wall. Batson's car then slid along the wall and burst into flames when fuel spilled along the track.
Number 60 is Gary Everett. He is battling William Metzger of Deer Park, New York for the lead. The car gets a bit loose on Everett and then comes around. Behind him, drivers take evasive action. In one of the strangest accidents we've ever witnessed, Neil Cannell gets up and into Gary Batson, whose car rides along the top of the wall, and fuel spilling from the...
The fuel spill fire stemmed from a faulty gas cap mechanism that failed to seal due to the shallow impact angle. Connell emerged uninjured and was quickly evacuated and found to be unhurt, but Batson was trapped in his car. Batson survived the initial crash, but suffered burn injuries. He also remained conscious through the rescue. He was rushed to a local hospital and then airlifted to UNC Hospital's burn unit in Chapel Hill, but he succumbed to his injuries roughly 15 hours later on Saturday, May 16, 1992. Mark Porter was a 32-year-old New Zealand-born racing driver from Hamilton who built a respected career across New Zealand, Japan, and Australia. He began in club racing with Mazda RX-7 sports cars and, in 1998, became the first Kiwi to compete in Japan's All-Japan Grand Touring Championship, now Super GT. Porter relocated to Australia in 2002 to race in the V8 Supercars development series, driving both Ford Falcons and Holden Commodores for independent teams. He quickly emerged as a frontrunner, finishing third in the championship in 2003 and 2004, and entering the 2006 Bathurst round third overall, highlighted by a win at Queensland Raceway. Alongside this, Porter was a regular Bathurst 1000 starter, recording a best finish of 11th in 4 appearances between 2002 and 2005. Porter's fatal crash occurred at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Australia's most iconic racing circuit. The Mount Panorama track is famed for its challenging layout, a 3.86-mile public road course in Mount Panorama, also called The Mountain, with a 570-foot vertical rise and 23 turns. Porter took the track at Mount Panorama, driving a yellow Hyundai Hydraulink-sponsored Holden VZ Commodore number 111, as he was in contention for the Development Series title. On lap 12 of the 14-lap support race, the penultimate lap, Porter came over the crest at the Sulman Park section of the mountain. For reasons that remain unclear, he clipped a wall, causing his Commodore to spin and stall sideways on the track. The car came to rest with its driver's side facing oncoming traffic in a blind spot above the crest. A few seconds later, oncoming driver Chris Alajagian lightly hit the rear of Porter's car, and then Adelaide driver David Clark, driving a Ford Falcon, went into the same hill at roughly 112 to 120 miles per hour.
On a weekend meant to commemorate the tragic passing of racing legend Peter Bronk, a serious accident was the last thing the motor racing fraternity needed.
Oh no! It is David Clark. Huge hit into the driver's side of Mark Porter's car, the Hydralink Commodore.
The crash was severe enough that race officials immediately halted the event. Safety crews attended to both drivers, who were initially unconscious when rescuers arrived. Porter was taken by ambulance to the nearby Bathurst Base Hospital and later airlifted by helicopter to Royal Prince Alfred Hospital in Sydney due to his injuries. On Sunday, October 8, 2006, approximately 72 hours after the accident, Mark Porter succumbed to his injuries and passed away at the Sydney hospital.